The first Toy Story video game came out in 1995, the same year as the film. The game was created by Traveler's Tales for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. These days, Toy Story the game's lead designer John Burton runs a YouTube channel called Game Hut. In his videos, Burton reviews graphical techniques and reveals trivia about the games he has worked on, including Toy Story. In one such video, it's mentioned that many children in the United States struggled with the overhead RC car racing sections of the game. This led to the introduction of a password system in the PAL release to make the game more fair. In 2018, Burton toyed with the idea of creating a Toy Story the game director's cut for Sega Genesis. Such a release would have been similar to his director's cut of Sonic 3D Blast. As of 2022, this release has not happened, and it appears John has abandoned the idea. We reached out to John Burton and asked him if Pixar provided any of the movie assets for the game. John responded, "We recreated everything except for Woody and Scud the dog, who were movie models, animated and rendered just for us by Pixar. We built and animated our own versions in case, but they managed to get us theirs just in time for the game release." The 16-bit versions of Toy Story were ported to the PC by Dave Hathaway. While the PC version of Toy Story the action game is a port of the Genesis and Super Nintendo game, it had to be reprogrammed without the original assembly source code written by Traveler's Tales. All the graphics were taken from the Super Nintendo port and upscaled to 256 colors. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, there was a trend of toy-related video games coming to the market. These games included the gaming series Army Men, which consisted of small plastic soldiers depicted in a similar manner to the plastic Army Men in Toy Story. Revolt, an RC car racing game that takes place in everyday locations, originally released on the Nintendo 64, Windows PC, PlayStation, and Dreamcast. Toy Commander, a toy vehicle-based game where players go on missions to accomplish various tasks around the house, exclusive to the Dreamcast. And Lego Island, which stands as the first in a lengthy list of Lego-based video games. It is likely that this trend was at least due in part to the success of Toy Story, and developers taking advantage of the synergy of releasing similar products around the same time.
Defeat the claw machine. Use Buzz to ward off mutant toys. And escape from Sid's house. In a twisting, action-packed adventure back to Andy's house. 5 ways to live the...
Toy Story 2 is a beloved movie tie-in game having gameplay inspired from Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, and releasing around the time that 3D platformers were at their peak. The game is not without controversy though. In the original release, there was an enemy toy man wearing a sombrero sporting a large mustache, which is an offensive stereotype used to depict people of Mexican descent. More than 120 people protested outside of the publisher Activision's office, taking issue with the depiction. The character was removed from future releases of the game, and Activision issued an apology. The first Buzz Lightyear spin-off of Toy Story was an animated series titled Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. In the series, Buzz and a crew of goofy space rangers battle Zurg and his minions throughout the galaxy. The spin-off spawned one video game released on the Dreamcast and PlayStation. The game shares its name with the series and can be thought of as a sort of Crash Bandicoot-style platformer, but where the main form of attack is a gun which controls similar to the guns from Sega's Shadow the Hedgehog game. One unique aspect of the game is that each level is timed in the form of a race to the end of the level against one of Zurg's minions or a criminal outlaw. It's interesting to note that Traveler's Tales has made a total of 4 Toy Story related video games, easily making them the developer of the majority of the Toy Story games. These games include Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue, Toy Story Racer, and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Because of this, these 4 games shared several staff members. People who worked on all 4 games include programmers John Burton, David Dootson, and 3D artist James Cunliffe.
When danger is near, call for Buzz Lightyear, Rocket Force leader. Uh-oh, Zurg has sent his evil enemy robot. Twin Rocket Buzz, our hero, springs into action.
Toy Story 3, the video game for the 7th generation consoles, was developed by Avalanche Software. At the time, it was said to be the most ambitious game published by Disney Interactive Studios to date. The team at Avalanche worked closely with Pixar. Pixar provided the team with many models and backgrounds from the movie, which they referenced to ensure that the assets they made for the game felt authentic to the film. There are conflicting reports if any of the movie assets made it into the game or were just used as reference. We suspect that the answer is somewhere in the middle. Toy Story 3, the game included a toy box section where players could go on missions and unlock new toys, costumes, and buildings for the play area. Avalanche Software went on to create the Disney Infinity Toys to Life games, which many feel take great inspiration from the Toy Story 3 sandbox. The PS2 and PSP versions of Toy Story 3 were developed by Asobo Studio, and were completely different from the 7th generation versions. They feature more levels in the story mode, but lack the toy box entirely.
New from Lego Brand Toy Story, evil Dr. Porkchop has trapped Rex and Jessie. Can you help Buzz and Woody rescue their friends? You can build the train, climb aboard, and ride to the rescue. Help Buzz connect the wagon and save the day.
Special thanks to John Burton for answering our question about Toy Story the game. Check out his channel at youtube.com/gamehut for information about graphical effects, programming, and trivia about some of your favorite retro games which John worked on. Check out the description below for links and sources to all these facts. We're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers in our first year. You can help by subscribing and clicking on the notification bell. In return, we'll promise to make more videos like these. This has been a GameFAQs special.